Hi guys, Adrian Hillier here, licensed acupuncturist, licensed massage therapist, and lifelong martial artist, bringing you Karate Corrective. Alright, so this week we're going to talk a little bit more about dorsiflexion. In the past, when we talked about our forward leaning stance, one of the things that we addressed was that knee falling in. Another issue that we can have is the amount that our knee can come forward. It's dorsiflexing. Dorsiflexion is this action, it's pulling your foot back action. We use it a lot in karate for our kicks, for our stances, and it's important that we have that mobility. Not everybody has it. Usually it's because we have some tight calves and some weak dorsiflexors, which is going to be something like tibialis anterior. We're going to go over a couple exercises that you can do at home that'll help you increase that dorsiflexion. Need a few tools for that. You're going to need a lacrosse ball or something like it, a thick band, and then a thinner band that's still thicker than like a TheraBand. Alright, so if you're curious if your dorsiflexion might be a little bit limited, there's a real easy test that you can do to see where you're at, which is really good to apply again at the end to see if those exercises are making an impact on you or not. What you're going to do is go down to one knee, make sure you're about a fist distance away from the wall, and you should be able to bring your knee directly in line with your big toe over to the wall without having your heel lift up. If that heel starts to rise when you try, you're definitely looking at some tight calves, and we want to make sure that we're loosening those up so that you're getting better dorsiflexion. So that's an easy way just to self-examine where you guys are at with your dorsiflexion. You can also do it from a forward leaning stance. You can just look and see, okay, I can sit in here. If I come forward, can I bend that knee without a problem? Or if I start to bring the knee forward, do I start to arch? Do I lose my strength and stance? Do I lose that mobility? Am I compensating? Those are two quick ways that you can kind of test that out. All right, so for this beginning exercise, we're going to use the lacrosse ball. You're going to take a seat. You're going to place that ball on your calf. And you're just going to use it to roll up and down, find the spot, you can kind of pin it there, and you can actually dorsiflex your foot from here, so pulling that back. Some people find this is a little bit too tender, in which case you can switch to a foam roller or a broad calf massager that they sell. So you're kind of doing that pin and stretch action. You can also increase weight by using your other foot. Just crossing the leg to push it down, making sure you're shifting along that gastroc to find all those hot spots. Now you may spend a few minutes doing that before you move on to the next one, which you're going to have a thick band secured low. You want to be able to step into it, have it attach in just above your foot. You can go down on one knee, and now we're going to work that dorsiflexion. Multiple angles, feeling where it's stuck. You should feel it kind of tractioning you back, right? So if I lift my leg, it's going to pull it. You want that much of a pull to have this aid in that joint glide. And same thing, you can do this for a minute or two before you test it with that test that we showed you at the beginning. We're going to hook this one on right at the base. So you can do it here. It's going to make the exercise a little harder. It's not necessarily as comfortable, so you can have it here for you. And then we're going to pull back and then lower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right back up. 3, 4, back up. And working in the sets of those. And you can tell just by that motion on the floor, one, it's going to be good for things like a forward leaning stance, shigirachi, but it's also good for our kicks, right? So when we lift our leg and kick out, we're able to pull that back and strike with the heel like we want to. We don't want to not have dorsiflexion and be always hitting with the blade. It's not going to be as strong of a kick. So we want to make sure we have that dorsiflexion pulling us back. All right, for this last one, we're going to do an activation technique It's going to mimic something that we do pretty regularly. So to get your band, you're going to stand on that, wrap it around your foot. You want that to go kind of high up, similar to where we had it for that previous joint mobilization we were doing. And what you're going to do is you're going to tuck your toes under and start to pull your foot off. Right now it's just going to be pulling you in. What we're going to do to turn that off is bend our knee, but keep pulling that foot up with the toes curled under. Set and repeat. What that does is it lets us kind of obviously do some stability training for the leg you're balancing on, that hip, right? You want to make sure you're not coasting out. It also turns off some of the muscles we don't want to fire, so we're able to isolate that dorsiflexion a little bit better. Versus here, you'll notice you pull your toes up, you're going to get higher. But that's not just the tibialis anterior. So play with those. See which one's going to work a little better for you, and which one translates when you step out of that band to getting your kicks better. So that's this week's Karate Corrective, trying to keep you on the floor longer. If you like this video and you want to see more, hit subscribe and remember to check back next week for the next video in the series.